This strategy I've used in almost every one of the businesses that I've built. Businesses in industries I had never been involved in before, where I had no prior experience or relationships. But because I found where the barrels of clients were already assembled, I was able to get exponentially faster and bigger results than others in the same space. So I'm telling you, it works big time. Welcome to another Fireside Chat with Darren Hardy. In this Fireside, we're going to venture into some of the more strategic selling strategies that can significantly multiply your growth trajectory, or if you do them wrong, can cause you unending nightmare and maybe cost you your reputation and your business. This is learning to leverage the enlightened self-interest of others, creating mutually valuable marketing partnerships. There are 5 types of strategic partners. Let me take you through them. First are promotion sponsors. The definition of a promotion sponsor is a company that supports the promotion of another for a shared result or a shared client. To identify who those might be for your business, ask yourself this question: who gains business if you gain business? You see, dental supply companies will help dental practices. They will supply them with equipment or technology or even practice management solutions or sales and marketing support, even extra samples and more. Why? Because they know that if the dental practice is successful and growing, they will need to buy more dental supplies to run their practice, so everybody wins. Envelope manufacturers will supply copywriters and designers to direct marketers. Why? Because if their clients' direct mail promotions are successful, they're going to be buying a whole heck of a lot more envelopes to keep it going. Everybody wins. When I ran Success, our printer would supply us with the free subscription cards to put inside the magazine. Those blowout cards that you get. Now, why would they do that? Because the more subscriptions that we gained, the more magazines we had to print with them. So everybody wins. Mortgage brokers, title companies, home inspection companies, termite companies, roofing companies support and sponsor real estate agent parties and promotions. If the agent gains more clients, they refer, and everybody else gains more clients. Everybody wins. I'll give you a specific example. There is a company called FabFitFun, which is a millennial targeted subscription box type product that has beauty, fitness, fashion, and travel products inside the box, and they reach over 500,000 subscribers. FabFitFun partnered with Azul Beach Resort in Jamaica to offer a chance to win a trip to the luxury resort. So FabFitFun ran a big promotion with the opportunity to win a trip to this fabulous place. The resort received massive reach into a community of like-minded vacationers for free. And FabFitFun delivered that exceptional sweepstake to their subscribers, meaning the trip to Jamaica, for free. Everybody wins. Does that give you any ideas? Here's number 2, cross promotion. The definition of this is cooperative marketing by 2 or more companies of one another's products or brands. In the early 1970s, the Harley-Davidson brand was looking for some exposure, a way to get the attention on their brand and motorcycles. Well, instead of trying to do that themselves, which is very expensive and largely ineffective, as we've talked about before, they just looked around to see who already had a bunch of attention. And they saw this wacko guy who named himself Evel Knievel. This guy was so nuts that he attempted jumping cars, buses, and rivers with his motorcycle that major networks started televising his stunts. And Evel, he had a problem. He kept crashing and thus ruining his motorcycles, which became very expensive for Mr. Evel. So Harley offered to help. They offered to supply Mr. Evel with all the bikes that he needed for his televised stunts, that to be more specific, as long as they would put a big fat Harley-Davidson logo, way larger than their actual logo, on commercial bikes on both sides of the fuel tank when he was performing his stunts. Evel got free bikes, and Harley got free, as in millions of dollars worth of advertising impression for free. Everybody won. You see movie studios partner with brands who have their target customer demographics, like Kung Fu Panda, the movie, partnered with McDonald's. McDonald's gave the movie massive exposure to their target audience, and McDonald's had a new novel reason for you to come in and eat their stuff. The Dark Knight did the same with Pizza Hut. The Pixar movie Inside Out did the same thing with Subway, and on. Everybody wins. So, for the first 2 partners, promo sponsors and cross-promotion partners, ask yourself, who has a vested interest in your growth? What promo efforts can you ask them to support? Who else is after the same client? What co-promotion can you run together? Number 3 is strategic alliances. This is when 2 or more businesses share resources for a mutually beneficial result. For instance, a gas station will have a Subway store inside it. They both share the traffic and become more valuable together than if they were each alone. Everybody wins. Barnes & Noble did the same thing with Starbucks. Over 1,000 licensed stores have been opened together since 1993. And this strategic alliance has been extremely valuable to both brands, maybe even life-saving to Barnes & Noble so far. One of the best strategic alliances of recent has been the one with Red Bull and GoPro. Red Bull, a lifestyle brand and now media company, is constantly looking and is in great need for extreme sports video content to keep their lifestyle vibes going. GoPro needed credibility and brand exposure and could never afford to pay for it. By partnering together, Red Bull's lifestyle brand was significantly expanded, and Red Bull made GoPro the de facto leader in their category. Everybody won big. You saw Uber and Spotify do the same. Of course, the biggest strategic alliance in history is probably IBM, Microsoft, and Intel. That alliance allowed them to grow and control 80% of the personal computer market, produce more than $1 trillion in wealth, and change the lives of every person on the planet. What people forget is Apple had previously controlled the market, owning 90% of the personal computer market, but they refused to strategically partner with other companies and saw their market ownership drop from 90% to 10%. It's one of the biggest mistakes in the history of Apple. Of course, they learned their lesson, and it later became one of their key strategies to make the iPod and the iPhone successful. With their App Store, they partnered with developers, and with iTunes, they partnered with record labels and musicians. They started with 500 apps, and now there are over 2 million or more. iTunes signed up 10 million accounts in just 6 months, and now there's more than 800 million. So yeah, it's a good thing they changed their strategy. Reid Hoffman, a venture capitalist and co-founder of LinkedIn, puts it this way: no one can succeed by themselves. The only way you can achieve something magnificent is by working with other people. There is a lot of cooperation that takes place to do something significant. Here are the questions to ask yourself to take advantage of strategic alliances. Who has a following of your target client already? Who would want access to your target client base? What would be a mutually beneficial marketing relationship? And then next are joint ventures. Here's the definition: 2 or more businesses who pool their resources to create a completely separate business entity. Here's the key question to ask yourself about thinking of whether joint ventures is good for you or not. What product or service combined with yours would solve a problem or fulfill a client desire? Let me give you some examples. Nike and navigation technology company TomTom came together to create the Nike Plus GPS sports watch. Apple and Nike did the same to create the Nike Plus iPod. Nike developed a footwear line called Nike Plus, and Apple created a microchip that fits into the shoe, which records the user's progress when they activate the feature from their iPhone or iPod. BMW and Louis Vuitton joint ventured to create luggage that fit perfectly into the rear parcel shelf of BMW's special $135,000 model. Now, BMW had a $20,000 upsell to offer and profit on, and Louis Vuitton had instant sales to their ideal target demographic. Bonnie Bell joint ventured with Dr. Pepper to create their own new lip smacker flavor. As nasty as that sounds, the joint venture started in 1975 and is still existing to this day and continues to be successful. Sky Vodka saw how the gals on Sex and the City were vodka drinking fiends and created a special edition vodka line, and they both made extra money. Delta and American Express joint ventured to create a specially created and incentivized Blue Delta Sky Miles credit card. You might be thinking, why would Delta bother? Why would Delta want to help a credit card company acquire new cardholders? Well, one, this is what the president of Delta reported. Our partnership with American Express produced $70 million of incremental value this quarter, and we are on pace to deliver $300 million of incremental value this year. An extra $300 million for doing next to nothing ain't bad. And two, it acted as a loyalty program to incentivize and reward Delta customers for repeat business, significantly increasing each customer who became a cardholder's lifetime value. Bam! Everybody wins. And now you know why the airlines pitch you so hard about their credit card offering while they have you captive inside their tube, as annoying as that is. So, with regard to joint ventures, ask yourself, who serves the same client profile as you do, like BMW and Louis Vuitton? Who has a valuable adjoining product or service, like Nike and Apple? What co-created products or services could be created, like Bonnie Bell and Dr. Pepper? And then lastly, my favorite type of partnership strategy is what's called affinity groups. The definition here is a group of people that are linked together by a common interest or purpose. I also call this fish in a barrel as a strategy. The key question to ask yourself here is, what are the groups of your ideal targeted prospects? Where are they already collected into a single barrel? Not just out there willy-nilly in the lake or the ocean, but already in a barrel. Based on who your best buyer profile is, it is critical to not wasting your precious sales and marketing time and budget. Based on their demographic and psychographic profile, where does your best buyer hang out? What are their interests? Where do they go? What do they belong to? For instance, based on their profile, are they members of the local country club or maybe of the symphony group? Are they members of the Chamber of Commerce? Maybe they're involved with a networking group like YPO or EO or Vistage or Tiger 21 or Toastmasters. Hey, maybe based on their profile, they are members of a car club or a dog lovers group or a particular church or a bowling league or a PTA group or a soccer league or a CrossFit community. Whatever. Once you find where they are already barreled up, then you can partner or win over the leader of that barrel, influencer and relationship owner. And instead of having to fish out in the wild in the open ocean or lake, one at a time, you now can haul them in, well, by the barrel. So, wrap-up questions for the affinity group partner are: what are other areas of interest of my target client group? What are organizations or associations they are already a part of? Who are the main influencers of those groups? I'm telling you, this strategy I've used in almost every one of the businesses that I built. Businesses in industries I had never been involved in before, where I had no prior experience or relationships. But because I found where the barrels of clients and customers were already assembled, I was able to get exponentially faster and bigger results than others in the same space. So I'm telling you, it works big time. Now, I cover more details of these strategies and a whole heck of a lot more inside the E-FastPass program. Of course, I'm just giving you the very tip of the iceberg here in these quick sessions that I'm giving to you for free. Just imagine what's beneath the surface in my actual paid for training programs. I hope you're getting just a clue here in these fireside chats together. If you want the full iceberg, then choose to go deeper. And I hope to see you then, because together we cannot fail.